All right. If I did this correctly, and it's been a while, so I don't know if I did, we should be live on the internet with me and a bunch of people who clicked on a link that I tweeted out. I'm Nick Robinson. You might know that already, probably. And today I just wanted to take, instead of doing like a normal game stream, because me and Victoria streamed, I'm not exaggerating, like 5 or 6 games this weekend. You can go find all those archives on Twitch. I wanted to do something a little different. I have a lot of thoughts about this year's E3, and I'm sure you do too, that I wasn't really. I was kind of tied to our booth this year, wrangling our live show for Polygon, so I kind of wanted to get those. Uh-oh, I hear myself, but that's my problem. I fixed it. I kind of wanted to get a chance to talk to you guys about everything that happened at E3 this year, like the stuff that you guys are excited about, the announcements that were big deals to you, the stuff that I got to see, like the Morpheus stuff that I haven't really been able to talk about yet, the Nintendo stuff that I have probably talked about a lot. And you can kind of see, look at that, you can kind of see my reflection right there. That's weird. There we go. Problem solved. I'm just going to do this for the next hour. I am joined, though, by a whole bunch of people, all of whom's names I believe I have, and many of whom I just recognize from the internet and stuff. And if you're not in this Google Plus Hangout, there should be a link at the bottom of the YouTube window where you can click and submit text questions using the Q&A app in Google Hangouts. It also should pop up as an annotation, like right, I think down here. There's so many different features in this that have changed since this Hangout toolbox that I was messing with. There's a lot. I'm just gonna go for it. Oh, let's start with Ben, who I see on the internet all the time. Who I believe can I unmute him? Do I even have that ability? Now I got to go over to the control room. Oh, he got himself. Hey, yeah. What's up?
Hey, how's it going?
Good. How are you? Nice to meet you. Were you part of my first and only Hangout, or no?
No, that was was that the one that people who donated could join?
Yeah, exactly. Yes.
Yeah, I saw that. I didn't see the donation thing, and I was the guy that asked about Patreon. I saw that
yeah, that was a while. I haven't really done any since then. I think for a while I held off on doing them because I was still very much entertaining the idea of going the Patreon route, and I didn't want to cheapen it if I started doing it on Patreon. But obviously I have a different source of income now, so that didn't end up being a thing. How you doing?
I'm fine. I'm excited. All the games are coming out.
Yeah. Did you enjoy E3? Like, what was it? Where were you? Where were you watching E3 from?
Twitch.
Cool.
Well, the East Coast. That's where I was watching it from. But there were a lot of things that I was really excited about. Of course, Final Fantasy VII and just all these remakes and new games and new IPs. But I don't know, Nintendo. I know they said they weren't going to show new Zelda, and they kind of showed a lot throughout the year, but I was still kind of disappointed with how they did it.
For sure.
Star Fox was the best way to start it off, but I feel that was it.
Yeah, totally. And you're not the only one who had that impression. And I think the way that we watched the show at Polygon was very few of us actually went to the press conferences in person. It was mostly those of us who went to LA for the show were kind of crammed in an Airbnb, and we watched it on Twitch just like you did. Mm-hmm. And I think that the general consensus on our end, and it's only the general consensus. Yeah. Oh wait, hold on. I think I'm getting a little echo, but that might be my bad.
I don't hear anything.
Oh, all right. Well, it's me. I'm just going to close every other tab. Oh, I found it. It's once again me having 100 tabs open. Anyways, yeah, no, I feel you. I think Nintendo was slightly disappointing to a lot of people. That was the consensus I got on Twitter too. Was people were underwhelmed by it, right? They did a Metroid game that was maybe the most underwhelming Metroid possible. They did a Zelda game that in a lot of ways was the most underwhelming Zelda possible. What I will say in their defense, though, is those games were so interesting to me, including Mario Maker, until I saw them in person. So Mario Maker, I did not give a shit about until I saw it during the Nintendo World Championships thing, and I thought it was all of a sudden totally on my radar. Same with Zelda. I was okay, it's just a 3-player version of Four Swords Adventures. Who cares? And then I played it, and it's actually this really polished, puzzly thing that feels like the same puzzle design you saw in Link Between Worlds. But there were also things about it that were totally disappointing. But I don't know. I know Griffin on staff at Polygon was hugely disappointed by the fact that they announced what he calls 2 fake Animal Crossing games and no real Animal Crossing games. I kind of feel that too.
I was really bummed about that. The Amiibos that they made are looking really, really good though. I'm thinking I might pick those up. And then
I really agree.
The Mario Maker one, which is looks huge, also looks really neat.
Mm-hmm. The Amiibo specifically, like the 8-bit pixelated one.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that
that
thing
was
is
really cool.
is crazy looking. They're actually putting that out in 2 colors. They've got like one that is based on the original sprite, and then another one that's like the original sprite but recolored to be like modern Mario with like the blue overalls and
That's
everything.
awesome.
Yeah. But yeah, so it sounds like though you liked Sony a lot too, right? Like,
Sony was definitely like one of my favorites. And I thought, was it the Xbox one that they had Hoop God? So I
oh
thought
my
that
God,
was
wait, no, I think Hoop God was like an
was
EA
it
or
EA?
Ubisoft thing. I think it was
Or no, it
EA.
was because is EA isn't because it was a 2K game. It was for 2K16 for NBA,
You
right?
know, Hoop God honestly felt like his own press conference as far as I was concerned. Yeah,
um,
that was amazing.
and then there was at EA they had Pele, and he went on for like 20
That
fucking
might be
minutes.
what's throwing me off is the difference. There's a different sportsman at all the different
Yeah,
conferences.
I've never even heard of Hoop God before. Like I think he made his Twitter like after that
I
press conference.
That whole thing was so weird. He also like went through and anyone who mentioned him, I didn't even tag him in a tweet, but anyone who mentioned him, he went through and replied to them on Twitter like 72 hours later. I've got like a reply from the Hoop God. It's weird. I am not totally sure whether the Hoop God exists or has ever existed. It was a
Interesting. He
really
kind of came out of nowhere.
yeah, very. That felt like an old E3 thing to me, where it was like, oh, you are just a very direct result of someone sitting around a conference room table saying that they need to have a relatable dude come out and talk about basketball. Like you don't exist. You are purely a like function of a marketing thing. Yeah, Hoop God was weird. I'm gonna bring some more people in here, starting with Marcy,
Okay.
who is the homie for sure. What's up? Oh wait,
Good.
I didn't unmute you. I'm so bad at this.
Are you gonna
Um,
mute me or?
there we go. No, you can still hang out. Just feel free to
Okay.
keep
All right.
talking and chime in. We have everyone talking. How
Hey,
you doing?
good. This is like the first time I've been able to talk on one of your hangouts.
Yeah, I remember we had like
Last
was it technical difficulties last time or something?
last time, like I was trying to use my condenser mic with
Hmm.
my desktop, and it just wasn't working. I'm just using my laptop at this point.
I mean, it sounds fine. So
Yeah,
it's all
I
good.
tried to switch over, and then like something happened, and I don't know.
Isn't that frustrating when you're trying to like min-max the audio-visual quality of something and it just makes everything a
I
shitload
know.
more complicated?
I hate it so much. It's like if you just use the thing that's been manufactured as an all-in-one
Yep.
thing, yeah, it works.
Like I recently my C920, which is like the Logitech webcam I use, which was like kind of widely considered the best webcam you can get. It died on me recently, so I bought the C930, or I didn't buy it. Logitech sent me a C930, which was really nice of them.
Yeah.
But it's like that's a business class webcam that is. It doesn't work with any software, including the Logitech software. So you
Wow.
plug it in, the Logitech software is like, we don't know what this camera is, but you can try to use it because it's meant to be used with like business-to-business teleconferencing software like Skype. And so
Yeah.
in effect, what happened is I bought a better camera than I used to have with like a wider field of view and a better everything, and now everything's harder because of that. It's just you're right. Like
Yeah, no, I feel that so hard. It's,
yeah, using the built-in stuff is even if it looks and sounds worse, it's frequently like what you're. It just makes more sense, I guess. How did you like E3 this year though?
I have so many just like polarized feelings about it. I don't think I have anything extreme except for Danger Zone.
Danger Zone. What is that?
When
With-
was it the zombies?
It was when the zombie came out. That it was directly after the Unravel.
The
It was
Plants
like,
vs.
it was
Zombies
like everyone
thing.
was feeling
Yeah,
these
yeah,
like
yeah.
heartfelt emotions. Like, yeah, this game looks so great. It's so amazing and beautiful and personal.
Honestly,
and then
it's
suddenly,
like someone at EA watched a rehearsal of the press conference and was like, okay, that Unravel thing is good, but we don't want to be too likable. Like, we don't want it to be too relatable.
they don't want to ruin their image.
Yeah, how can we like sabotage ourselves and really just kneecap it and make sure people still at the end of the day kind of hate EA?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that was ridiculous.
What about Aisha Tyler talking about memes just constantly?
Oh gosh, yeah. Her whole her
They
whole
keep
thing
bringing
of
her
like,
back. They need to
I
stop
know,
doing
like,
that.
She sits down with this guy and she's like, "Let's make a meme right here, right now. Meme time."
The weird thing is, I get the sense just from watching those that I don't think she's the problem necessarily. Like, I really feel like as a host, she's like pretty. I think she's very charismatic and like does good like vamping. Like anytime she has to improvise, she's like pretty much killing it.
Yeah.
Like she's batting 900 on those jokes. But as soon as like it's some really scripted shit, like that meme conversation where it's like you can tell it was not her idea, like that stuff is the hardest to watch. And it's so hard to watch. Like Okay, like the meme thing specifically. Like I am not exaggerating. I started just physically just sweating bullets. Like not. I'm not saying this as a joke. I'm not like playing this up. I was like flop sweat, like unfucking comfortable physically, and I was so angry. But I was never like if on Twitter I was never like I never got mad at Aisha Tyler because she was the victim in this just as much, if not more than.
No, like I totally blame Ubisoft for that.
Yeah. I feel like she's an archer and she's hilarious in that. I think it's partly the scripted stuff, but I think it's also like it's the wrong audience for her.
Yeah, and like not to mention
understands gaming like in the gaming community as like a whole.
In in Whose Line, she's pretty much improvising the whole time, and she does such a great job with that. And
right.
I don't know.
It's weird how hard it is to do any of those things right. Like it's really a tough thing to nail. I think like it's also exaggerated somehow when you're not there in person. Like I remember I was at the Nintendo World Championships, which Kevin Pereira hosted, and I thought he did a pretty good job. Like not spectacular, and there were maybe one or two jokes that didn't land, but being there in person, it was like, oh, he's doing like a pretty good job of hosting it. He's like toning it down and making it more maybe G-rated than he's used to, but it's like very serviceable. And then I got the impression from looking at Twitter on my phone that like to everyone who was watching on Twitch, the whole thing seemed like this extremely like awkward disaster, and I just did not get that vibe at all being there in person. And I think like when you have that degree of separation from like when it's being streamed versus being there, the vibe is just necessarily stranger. I think in part because like it's tough to balance even like the audience audio. Like the audience is always going to sound way too loud or way too quiet no matter what you do. It's just going to sound unorganic. And I think that's a factor too.
I think also a big part of it is just Twitch chats in general. Like any big thing, like whether it be League of Legends or Hearthstone players or just anything like that, it's always just so toxic, and just anything that's like not to their taste is cringy or like everything's just ridiculous. And so I think that's also a big part of it. Just that people are like, oh man, this is for kids, but they're still watching it and they're like, oh, this is cringy, but it's not. Like everybody was talking shit about DJ Mini Wheat.
Oh my God, they weren't. Were they?
Were they?
They were. No, people were trashing on him, and like I was like,
how?
I was like, you would kill to be up there. Like I would honestly like it would.
I think that's why.
To be up there.
I think that there's always this whenever anyone who is in a sort of forward-facing public position in this industry gets shitted on, especially a child, it comes from this. It comes from this really transparent place of like, I could do that better. Like, well, but he's a kid. Like it's this weird jealous thing. I don't know.
And he seems like a really cool kid. Like he's streaming like Bloodborne and stuff. Like
I've met that kid is awesome. I went over to the Twitch offices a couple weeks ago. That Top Keck video that was like me and Cisco and Max was at the Twitch office because Max Wink works at Twitch now. Yeah. And he spent the entire time doing kick flips on a skateboard and doing flips on like a practice butterfly knife. He's just and then like he got in a Nerf gun fight with Victoria. And he's just like awesome. He's just the coolest fucking kid. He's an awesome
kid. Like trashing on him, and so it's just Twitch chat. I think is most of it. Is like it's not that like there was like a degree of separation, although it's probably part of it. It's that it's Twitch. Like
real quick, I'm gonna let some more people in here. I'm gonna let in Jack real quick. Jack Cringy. Hello, Jack.
Hello. Hey, how's it going?
Welcome.
I can hear myself. Oh no, I can't. All right, never mind. Okay, don't worry about
that. How you doing? Where are you coming from? Where are you reporting from?
Australia.
Australia, awesome. What time is it?
Yeah. Right now it's midday. Yeah, I had a look at on YouTube because I'm at home. I haven't got work for like another few hours, and I was like, oh, Nick's doing a hangout thing. Yeah, whatever. Let's hit it up. And it was like 7 p. Is it 7 p.m. where you are?
Yeah, it's 7:30. Yeah.
It's 7 on. I think it's Monday for you guys because you're behind us. Yeah.
Oh right, you guys get January 1st. Like you get New Year's Eve before the rest of us, right? So that's kind of my mnemonic device for remembering that you guys are way, way, way ahead. So it's midday for you on Tuesday?
Yes.
Cool. What do you do?
Like, I'm not going to say professionally because I don't do anything professionally. I'm a Macca's kid at the moment. I mostly work as a barista there. Cool. But I'm studying film and TV, and so E3, right? Mm-hmm. There was so much stuff at E3. There was so much stuff.
Yeah, it really felt like it.
You guys are talking about how like there are some press conferences that you were like paying attention to more than others. Mm-hmm. I was tied up with work at the time, so I only had the time to skim. There was so much stuff to skim that like you guys talking about all of the awkwardness in the press conferences. I was getting like the condensed versions that I think like Polygon or The Verge threw up. Like that's how I found out everything about E3, and there was a lot to try and take in, and I'm probably forgetting a lot of what was there.
Well, I feel the same way, and I also feel like there's a phenomenon that happens when you're physically at E3 where you really feel like it's magnified. That sense of not having seen everything is magnified. Like I was not alone. I saw a few people this week who I know were at E3, like John Drake at Sony and stuff, who were like, "Does anyone have a link to all the announcements? Because I just want to watch like a video that just covers everything that happened. Because I feel like I missed so much. And being there in person, I feel very much the same way."
There was actually, if you guys know the streamer Dan's Gaming, he actually went through and made like a Google Doc of every single game that was announced and when it was going to be released. And so, like, if you want to go through like all of E3 without all of like the conference stuff, that would be like a good list to go.
That is a cool idea. I love that.
Probably find that and link that.
It definitely felt to me, and tell me if you agree, Jack, that it was like, it felt like a particularly good E3, like not just a dense one, but it felt like one where there was cool ass shit happening in every press conference, at least a little bit, and there was so much getting announced, and just like everyone came away from it feeling like this was. I kept hearing over and over on day 3 from people that it was like they're like this felt like kind of the best E3 in a long time, and I kind of am inclined to agree.
It seems like there weren't a ton of highs, but there were also not a ton of lows. It was just pretty. This is all right all the way through.
Oh man, did you watch the PC Gaming Conference and Square Enix conference?
Yeah,
because they had some pretty decent lows.
True.
Like the entire press conference. I remember
that was just like the one low point.
Right.
Yeah, on Twitter there was Keza McDonald. She on Twitter she put out one thing, and it was because watching the Square Enix, like you watch the Sony one and the Bethesda and the Microsoft, and then you go and watch the PC and the Square Enix ones, and what she said, it's like, this is what press conferences used to be like before, online streaming was a thing and everyone had to up their game. Because it was just so awkward and forced and not that great.
I think the PC gaming thing in particular was a weird one because I saw some people, I can't take credit for this, but somebody made the observation, and I think it's a good one, that wasn't really a press conference. Like they said it was, but really what it was PC Gaming's version of the exact same live show that GameSpot and IGN and Polygon and everybody has every year, right? Like it wasn't really, there wasn't really anything. There were a couple announcements here and there, but it mostly felt like a lot of people got tricked into watching what they were told was a press conference, but was really just yet another outlet's live show. And it's kind of weird because when you watch it on Twitch, it was like 150, 200,000 concurrent viewers, and they were all furious and miserable, and it kind of makes me wonder, like, would this ever work again? Would they get a second chance at this? Because I think a lot of people, myself included, felt duped into watching this 2.5-hour nightmare stream that just was completely interminable.
Everyone was
the problem. There was a big problem with the PC one because it was, to my knowledge, a big part of it. The reason why it happened was because AMD was behind it, and AMD should. Maybe they're not the best at trying to get new hardware or get people excited about their hardware, but the PC gaming community, because I just happen to be drowning in that community every now and then, they've been waiting for this new AMD series graphics cards for a long time now, and so they were like, well, I mean, let's make people more aware of it at E3, but then they were like, oh, but people don't just want to hear about graphics cards, so let's make a half-assed attempt at a press conference, but it's a talk show, but it's a press conference. Oh, look, new shiny graphics cards, except it was all awkward and forced and shit. So,
I guess I felt like it was a pretty well put together show for what it actually was, but not for what they were trying to say it was.
Yeah, and I feel like, to be clear, I think the host did as good of a job as he could have. I think the idea of like the talk show formatty thing was actually kind of endearing and good. It was still fundamentally misleading. Although, like, I think I get that the AMD announcement was a big deal for a lot of people. It ultimately felt a little dishonest. I'm going to start letting more people in. Let's talk to Brett here real quick. I keep forgetting that I have to do it through this other tool now. Here we go. Brett Hudson. Hi.
Hey, what's up?
Hey, how's it going? Welcome to the thing.
Thank you. Going pretty good.
Yeah, where are you coming from? It looks dark.
Yeah, I'm in Texas right now. I'm from Minnesota, but I'm visiting my dad right now. So.
Okay, so it's like what 8:30, 9:30 over there?
Yeah, 9:40 now.
Cool. So how did you watch E3? Did you stream it? Like, how did you consume it mostly?
So I kind of just weaved in and out of some of the streams. I think I watched the PlayStation one afterwards, and then watched some summaries of the Xbox one, and I want to say Ubisoft, but I'm not entirely certain. But yeah, I just kind of grabbed information here and there.
What was so the PlayStation one being the one that you watched live? What was your impression of that one, watching it unfold in real time? Because to me, it was like this very surreal, like, what if NeoGAF got to plan a press conference type of deep thing where it was just weird, hyper-specific dream announcements for the very, very insidery people. What was it like for you to watch?
It was a lot of fun. It was so much different than some of the previous years. I'm not a big shooter guy, so usually there's like a huge lineup of FPSs, and I'm like, okay. But this year there were so many different types of games, and I was just awestruck. There we go. By all the titles there that I'm actually interested in. Usually there's only like a handful from E3, but like everything this year, it's like, whoa, that looks really cool. I want it.
Yeah, for sure. And I also feel like something that's been pointed out over and over. Let's talk about the fact that there were not that many shooters. Because at Sony specifically, I'm trying to remember what's the name of the team who's doing Horizon Zero Dawn.
Guerrilla.
Guerrilla.
Games,
And
yeah.
Guerrilla
They did
Games
the
historically
Killzone
has been a
games.
shooter company.
Yeah,
So
they did
like
more.
that to me is fascinating. It's like a huge pivot for them. Like they could have just done another. Were they Killzone? Is that right?
Yeah, they
Yeah,
did.
it was
Killzone.
Killzone, they did.
It's still kind of a shooter. I mean, with a bow and arrow at least, but
Mhm.
it's definitely like a way different game, and I'm really kind of excited to see that. It's sort
Yeah.
of like, it's sort
It
of
looks
like
like it
an
has more in common with. Did any of you play Enslaved?
I wanted to. That did look good.
That game's
It
fucking
kind of-
awesome.
Yeah, it kind of like reminded me of like, is it After Humans or something, that show that was on like Discovery, and it just like went through Earth and like all like the rubble and stuff. I feel like that's what it sort of seemed like, and I think that's like a really cool concept to
See,
sort of have.
the game that's always reminded me of that is Splatoon.
Right, basically. God, I wish, like, it's funny, they give you in Splatoon just the tiniest hint of, like, lore, and then they don't really go anywhere with it, but that little teeny bit they give you is so, like, it's just
just
so
enough.
Yeah,
Yeah,
like, it makes me want to know so much more about that universe, though, for sure.
Did any of you go through and get like all of the sea scrolls? in
Oh, yeah,
the
definitely.
single player?
I got a bunch of them. I did not get all of them.
I went through and I got all of them, and it's kind of cool to just go through. And you get you get a weapon from each boss, but it kind of goes through. It's just like a really cool sort of thing to sort of like have a little bit of lore and have people sort of infer and have like the rest. And that's what Bloodborne did a lot too, was like do some little things of lore every once in a while and have other people figure it out for themselves. And I think that's a storytelling device that's very much in vogue right now. Is not holding the player's hand from a narrative perspective and letting them infer things. Like even what little we've seen of Dark Souls 3, like talking to my colleagues about it, that game is interesting in that there are now tombstones all over the game. Like there are these tombstones everywhere that that kind of. I don't know how to put. Oh, geez, what am I doing? You guys see that? Oh, jeez. Wait, where did it also disappeared? Oh God, this is weird. This is the Google
you done goofed.
thing.
Yeah, I love this. I'm learning so much. Oh, look at that. That's nice. That looks good. I'll just talk. Oh yeah, here we go.
Put a
Nice
hat on
nostalgic.
myself.
Oh yeah, there you go.
Oh, this is getting advanced. We're gonna crash it.
We're gonna get some-
Also, a really great feature from Google is every time one of you talks, it switches the camera away from me and then takes away the control for the colors on the camera, so I can't do anything. So let me tell you guys about E3 2001, way back in the day. You can tell from the black and white. Actually, a beard. This got very real very
I got
fast.
sunglasses and a beard now. Oh, I can get a prop and get a cake.
Oh, you got a cake. Happy
Oh my
birthday.
god.
Thank you.
What else? Can we draw
Happy
our
birthday.
faces here?
Wait. Hold on. Everybody be quiet for a second.
Uh-huh.
There are sounds in this.
Yeah.
Well, real quick, I want to make sure we hear from Lachlan. Hey, Lachlan, what's up?
Hey, not much.
How's it going? Where are you from?
I'm from Australia as well.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
I always my stupid shitty American instinct is to always assume you guys knew each other, and then I remember that Australia is actually bigger than 3 Earths somehow. How was your E3? Did you watch? Oh, that's a nice little look. Did you watch most of it, or did you read about most of it, or how'd you do it?
Yeah, well, actually, E3 was on during my exam period, so on final year of high school. So it was kind of like in middle of exam, flip your phone out, quickly scroll through Twitter, enjoy, and then get back to exam. But
Oh, man.
no, it was extremely exciting this year. There were a lot of really cool things announced.
I agree. Yeah. Were there any favorites for you? Any standouts that were like the takeaways from E3 that you can't stop thinking about?
Obviously, the two main Final Fantasy VII Remake and Shenmue 3. They're things that I was kind of sitting in exam and couldn't stop screaming about, and had teachers come over.
That's a good feeling,
it was-
actually.
Yeah, it is. But no, it was really cool to see them be announced.
We actually got a question about the Shenmue thing here. Let me pull up this questions app. So people who are watching are able to submit questions. Here we go. Oh, I can kind of sort them and stuff. Lazy Luca asks, what do you guys think about the Kickstarter for Shenmue 3? Is there a solid answer to if Sony is funding that game or not? I don't know that there's a... I think at this point, we all are kind of clear that they have come out and be like, yeah, no, we're kind of helping pay for that. We're not just giving them press conference time. We're also helping make that game a possibility.
I read earlier today that they that doesn't necessarily discount the possibility of Sony funding them, but they were talking about how they are absolutely seeking funding outside of Kickstarter as well. And yeah,
well,
so
the interesting thing is, like, if you look at Shenmue, I'm not sure if it was 1 or 2 because there's been a lot of talk about it. But those games took, I believe it was in the ballpark of $50 million to make in the past, and $2 million is absolutely nothing. So they're definitely getting, maybe from Sony, but I feel it's from more than one party.
There's
Shenmue, the original Shenmue had a budget of $70 million, is what I remember reading, and the goal in this Kickstarter is $2 million, which is a fraction of it, but it's at the same time, like, there are other factors, like people who will help fund it, because I feel like there's an element of, like, I don't know, looking at the oh my god, I almost said Inafune, but not Inafune, the Igarashi Kickstarter. Like that, he says in that thing that the point of this Kickstarter for his Castlevania spiritual successor was to prove to people that the demand exists and get funding, and I think that's a similar situation in Shenmue, where you can't possibly make a game of that scope, no matter what, for a budget of $2 million. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I think I also read that they are hoping to get like $10 million, like ideally from Kickstarter, in order to have like some sort of
the guy that came out on stage. I can't remember his name, but I believe it might have been on Twitter or somewhere else online. But he was speaking about how they won't, like, there's a fear online about how they're basically going to be building Shenmue 3 Lite if they don't hit 10 million.
Yeah, exactly.
But if they do hit 10 million, then they'll be able to get further funding, well, obviously from the 10 million, but from other means as well. So it's really, really grey and sketchy at this point.
Well, let me make sure that I let as many people in here as possible. Let's talk to Nicholas, who I share a name with, and therefore I need to unmute. Hey, Nicholas, how's it going?
Good, how are you?
Good. Where are you? Oh, there's a big old Yoda behind you. Where are you coming from?
Ohio.
Oh, cool. How's it going?
Yeah, good. Huh? Just chilling out here.
I noticed you have used the Google Hangout thing to add some glasses to your face. It's very realistic. This technology is getting better and better.
Real glasses.
Gotcha. So, how was E3 for you? Did you enjoy it?
Yeah, I enjoyed the Bethesda's E3.
Oh God, yeah. We haven't even talked about that.
Fallout 4 looks amazing, and I'm excited for the Doom reboot. Doom reboot, but yeah.
I agree. I think that was the first press conference of the show for us, and like it was pretty awesomely handled, the way that they announced Fallout ahead of the press conference to get that out of the way, and then dedicated this huge, like, 35-minute chunk to just showing Fallout 4.
Yeah.
Are you a big Fallout fan?
Yeah.
How did that? Was that what you wanted? Like, was that enough for you? Were you satisfied by what they showed?
I saw settlements and stuff like that, and then my mind exploded.
Right. It's funny. We did a bunch of interviews with a ton of people during E3 for Polygon, and one of the people we interviewed was hold on, let me sorry. We were talking to, was it not Ted Price, because that's Insomniac, and not Ted Howard, because that's the other guy. There's so many names that we end up holding in our head as a result of this. But Pete Hines. So we talked to Pete Hines on our live show interview, and one of the things we talked about was that Fallout announcement. And we asked him during that video. Justin and Griffin asked him. So that base building stuff, the settlement stuff, right? Was that inspired by games like Rust and Minecraft that are extremely blowing up? They're so popular. It feels like every day there's a new game on the front page of Steam that's about base building and settlement building. Was that an inspiration for you guys? And he was like, no, like point blank. He was like, not at all. He's like, we've been working on this stuff, like we said, since the very, very end of Fallout 3. We've been developing this game for years and years and years, since before Minecraft was even a phenomenon. So to see other people get excited about crafting again and base building again is cool, because it proves that there's a market there for that. But no, they've just been doing that because that was the natural evolution of building these sort of open world sandboxes for them.
Good prediction on their part.
I'm really glad to see them still taking their time on these games, because there's a lot of games that are coming out that are super rushed and come out what was it? Assassin's Creed Unity had all those bugs when it first came out.
Yeah.
And that's just because I'm totally fine with getting a delay on a game if it's to finish the game.
Well, Bethesda in this case, they showed a level of respect for the community that I don't think any other company has shown to that extent. They waited this long, and they were really gracious and oh hey, we're gonna get the announcement out of the way. They went into their press conference, set the tone for the rest of E3, for sure. They were like, Doom, I believe there was another game, I can't quite remember, and then they were like, oh, it's done.
2.
Nope, Dishonored 2, yeah. And then Fallout 4, and they were able to show so much of the game, because at this point, it's the majority of it is done. I would say more than 95%. The majority of the game's done. So that way, you don't have to worry about dates getting pushed back we've unfortunately gotten used to over the last 2 years. And damn, coming out in 2015, that's...
On the other hand, not to discount the fact that Fallout 4 is undoubtedly going to be amazing, but on the front of delays and things not turning out so well, who here remembers Watch Dogs?
Oh, yeah,
God.
For sure.
The Division.
I do. I just want to say, for the record, the enormous relief it was that Watch Dogs was, I think, the first game that we reviewed at Rev 3 Games where we dropped the review scale, because it really let people focus on and engage with the text of the review. Because that game would have done real shitty, and there would have been a whole lot of motherfuckers who pre-ordered it who were really mad at me in the comments on YouTube if I had given it a number. But instead I was just like, yeah, it's kind of bad, but maybe you'll like it. The cars are terrible, everything's not, it's not finished, but there's some good ideas in there, and here are the 5 things I liked. And because there was no number at the end, people didn't have anything to be to shake their fist at. Yeah, fuck Watch Dogs. It's not that bad. It's not that bad. But every time I go to something like PAX and I see a dude in a trench coat cosplaying the guy off Watch Dogs, I'm like, really? That's your favorite thing? Watch Dogs is fine, but how could it be your favorite? Not to take anything away from those people. Yeah. I just don't. How could you have any strong emotion about fucking Watch Dogs? It's Watch Dogs.
You'd think a developer would look at that game and be like, I don't know, I don't think that this is ready to ship yet, and then somebody else is like, send it out, we got it.
What's really weird is there's this in-depth sort of it might have been Polygon who did it. This report where they went to Ubisoft, and Ubisoft talked about because Watch Dogs was delayed. It got a big delay. Oh, yeah. And when they asked them why, they were like, yeah, we talked about it and we realized that the game just wasn't fun yet. We were ready to ship, but it was just not a fun game yet, so we pushed it back another 6 months and did everything in our power to make it a fun game. And I'm sure it's better than it was going to be. I think they did have some cool ideas in the hacking stuff that were kind of neat, and I would definitely play a second Watch Dogs if it was better. If you want to look at it as their Assassin's Creed 1, that's fine. But man, that game pre-delay, that. If anything, I think that's an argument for why delays are important when they're.
It's kind of sad that the commercial they had with the guy with the phone in the phone shop was cooler than the game and the hacking mechanic. Yeah, I think that's kind of sad.
That's always a bummer. Let's bring Aiden into the fold here. Let me click this.
Watch Dogs.
Speaking of Aiden Pierce, we've got Aiden Pierce from Watch Dogs here, ready to join us. Hey,
Hey, Mr. Wackerman.
how's it going, dude? It's nice to finally hear you and see you. I've seen your name all over the internet, but I've never put a face or a voice to the name. So how's it going?
It's going good.
I definitely. I'll tell you. What's the blue-haired girl from Madoka named?
Sayaka?
Yeah, I've always assumed that you were just like Sayaka wearing sunglasses or something because of your avatar.
I mean,
you're basically
blue hair. I'd be wearing it.
You're halfway there with this the power of Google Hangouts.
Just gotta go like.
Yes, there you go. Exactly. Now it's all coming back to me.
It's all
how'd
coming
you
together.
like E3?
It was great. I missed 2 of them. I think it was EA and Ubisoft, but all the other ones I've watched.
You missed nothing.
Yeah, you missed 0 of them. It turns
That's
out.
what I've heard. I think I watched the Polygon summary of
You
both
missed
of them.
you missed cute yarn and yeah.
Yeah, that's the
I
only
saw
thing
that.
that like
I
you
mean,
missed.
that-
But also, there's a new South Park game coming out that's called The Fractured Butthole.
boy.
It's gonna be fun to see.
From a
the
different
fractured
developer.
butthole. Oh my god.
It's going to be fun to see GameStop employees like end the transaction with, "Hey, do you want to order the Fractured Butthole?" And it'll be like,
I love
I
that
gotta be
name.
honest.
Absolutely.
When they announced the name of that game, The Fractured Butthole, I got mad at me for how much I kind of loved it. Like it's kind of really clever.
I mean, that's kind
so
of how South Park's humor works, where it's like you're just furious at yourself for finding it funny.
Yes, exactly. Speaking of cute yarn things, do you guys want to know something fucked up that I just realized?
Mm-hmm.
So Yoshi's Woolly World comes out June 26th. That's 4 days from now. In
What?
Europe. In Europe.
Oh, yeah.
Wow.
In North America, it comes out October 16th.
Yeah.
Wait, when does it come out in Australia?
it's a finished game.
Let's see. Australia, you actually get it a day before Europe. You get it 3 days from now.
Oh,
So
wow.
you get
Yeah.
it, like always, Europe gets it before everyone else. You get New Year, you get 2016.
Yes, we get
Yeah.
Woolly World, we get everything.
Nintendo always hates
Nintendo.
us Americans.
Oh man.
You get the
That's-
new year early.
I know I shouldn't complain out of like for all the times that North America gets shit before Europe and Australia. Like I should probably just shut up and grin and bear it because this is your one victory over us. But like June and then October.
That and the smaller new 3DS.
Oh, no, you think that's bad? No, you think that's
see
bad?
the-
Fire Emblem
The
Awakening.
Kotaku thing. Did you see the thing that Kotaku ran about them hinting, Reggie hinting that
Oh, no,
that
I
might
didn't.
come out here?
I'm so
What?
excited.
I just
Yeah.
got the new 3DS XL.
That's the thing. I think that announcement's going to be met with a mixture of excitement and a lot of like, God damn it, really?
Oh, yeah.
Like I totally caved.
I'm gonna wait until my other one breaks. It's on its last legs. Let's be real.
But yeah, man, Woolly World being that game's done and in English and translated and finished. And July, August, September. They're making us
And you
wait
wait
4
another month.
months for a game that's done. Like I could import a Wii U from Australia and play that game on Friday if I wanted to. That is a very non-Nintendo-y decision. But I'll stop complaining.
Is that
What about
is the Yoshi
What about the-
Amiibo?
Sorry, then you go. The Yoshi Amiibo. What?
Is the Yoshi Amiibo like just like wrapped in yarn, or is it actual yarn?
No, it's
Like, is it a
actual
plushie?
yarn. It's a fucking Beanie Baby, dog. It is like
Really?
I squeezed that thing. I asked them. I was like politely. I was like, can I touch it? And they're like, yeah. And I made a little vine of me like honking it on the nose. There's no like hard plastic core to it. It's really a felt doll with an NFC chip inside of it, which is really cool. And sorry, Lachlan, were you about to say something?
Yeah, was there any more news on that shipment of the yarn Yoshi that got completely destroyed?
I never heard about that. What?
There was in France, all pre-orders of it were cancelled because someone completely destroyed all the
Oh,
stuff.
looks like
Oh
Joey
my
went
God.
it.
Holy
Joey
crap.
went to it.
And you got a link to it
lit-
here.
Yeah.
Oh my God, that's horrifying. That's literally the saddest thing I've ever heard in my life.
God.
Amiibos are getting too real, man. Way too
They've
real.
been too
shit,
real
man.
for so long already, and they're just getting realer.
Yeah,
That's like the world's saddest short film would be a movie about a
Oh my God.
full of Yoshi amiibos that get destroyed and are just like floating uselessly in the sea.
yeah. What I
Amiibo heist.
Wasn't there Amiibo truck that got like stolen in like
Yes,
London?
yeah,
or
I heard a
something?
couple people mention that.
That
It was
was
a
me.
Splatoon
Yeah,
truck.
that's
Right? It was
bad.
full of, I think what actually happened there, and I'm not 100% clear, but I think it was actually it was a truck full of the Wii U Splatoon bundle, which came with Amiibo. And there might have been some Amiibo in there too, but I think it's a way juicier headline to say somebody heisted a truck full of Splatoon Amiibo.
Yeah.
That's just a funny idea. By the way, Marcy, thank you for picking up those Amiibo for me. I've got my Switch toy right over there, off in the distance.
Red.
I think the Waller one's
so
really
bad.
the best.
And real quick, there are 2 people left we haven't unmuted, so I'm just going to bring them into the conversation and turn this into a complete hellscape of overlapping voices. We've got Joey and Tyler here. Here we go.
Hello?
Here we go. All right. Let me click on Joey. Oh God, I got lost. Hey, Joey.
Hey, hi.
How's it going?
I'm good. Thanks for having me.
Oh, thank you for clicking on that link that I tweeted out. How was E3 from your perspective?
It was cool. The main thing coming away from it that I was happy to see is just that people noticed Horizon.
Oh, wow.
Yes.
Like from that press
that
conference,
looks so
I got
cool.
the feeling that it was just kind of getting it ignored and forgot with everything. And I thought it was like the coolest looking thing ever. But it's getting a lot of cool
It
buzz.
looks like Robot Monster Hunter. I'm so excited.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I heard.
Totally. I think that's a really great point, actually. That's the type of game that I think could have easily been swept under the rug and ignored and forgotten about, especially up against fucking Shenmue 3, Final Fantasy 7 Remake, and fuck, what's the other thing? What's the other big thing? Fucking the Last Guardian.
Yeah.
Like that. The fact that game managed to get noticed and get attention and press, despite being up against those 3 juggernauts, is pretty inspiring to me too, because it's an original IP from a developer who has only ever made grimdark first-person shooters. Maybe not only ever, but like primarily, and that makes me feel good. That's something to feel good about.
It really gave me the feeling that, like, I imagine a lot of those guys at Guerrilla Games were like, I want to make a different game.
Yeah.
Let us make a different game.
That's easy to imagine. I think that must have been really, really vindicating. I feel like that type of thing can be really rejuvenating for a team who has been like I'm sure that the people at Bungie who have who worked on Halo for forever probably really loved Halo. They were also really probably excited to not be working on Halo anymore.
Work on Halo and work on Destiny, which is Halo that you can aim down.
That's true. Yeah, they're like, man, it's really a decade of Halo was a lot of Halo. Let's make something new. What about a game where you shoot aliens in a sci-fi setting and there's really big skyboxes and there's multiplayer and you get headshots and all the guns have different reticles and oh no, we made Halo again. Oh no. I want to talk to Tyler too. Hey Tyler.
Hey, how's it going?
Hey, how you doing?
Good. How are you?
Good. Were you at some point? I feel like in the little box down there, I saw like some sort of like a MOBA or something.
Yeah, I'm playing Hearthstone. I don't have a camera, so
it's all right.
I saw an option to
Hearthstone.
cast my
How's
screen,
Hearthstone
so I
going?
decided to start playing Hearthstone.
Can we see any of that?
Heroes of the Storm. Yeah, give me a second.
Hots. Okay, let's see what's going on in Hots.
I'm in the middle of a fight. Give me a second.
Okay, no problem. No rush. By the way, have any of you played that new Hearthstone mode yet, Tavern Brawl?
No.
What is it?
Good?
It's cool. It's kind of like these. I'll talk over some Hots play for a minute here. Here we go. Tavern Brawl is really cool in that it's like it's a mode where every week, like every 7 days, see that dude's on a magic carpet.
It's actually a Hearthstone card back.
Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah.
So every 7 days they introduce a new tournament. Not even a tournament, but like a new one-on-one multiplayer mode. So for week 1, it was like the 2 end bosses from the most recent single-player campaign, and it's a mode with unique rules that only comes around for 7 days, and it's free to play with random opponents or with friends, and there's a prize. So like this past time, it was these 2 Hearthstone bosses. One player started with 5 mana, the other started with 1 mana. One guy had 60 health, the other person had 30 health and 30 armor. And one person had a deck built entirely around dragons, and the other person's deck was just this all-over-the-place thing. And they both had unique hero powers. That like one of them was like you get a random spell that costs 0 from any class, and then the other hero power was like once you leveled it up, it made it so you could do 8 damage to a random opponent. It was like really crazy.
That sounds so
voice
cool.
acting, yeah, it was this really cool, really polished thing, and it's like kind of awesome because as someone who plays Hearthstone when a new expansion comes out and then forgets about it and sets it down for 4 months and then comes back again, it's like a really good reason to come back each week. Like actual unique, timely content. Oh, I think he's winning.
Yeah.
Look at that. There you go. You did it!
Oh,
Congrats, Tyler. Great work.
But yeah, that Hearthstone expansion, like as soon as you start playing that expansion, it's like, man, I really want to play some of these boss decks, and then it gives you a chance to.
Yeah, finally, right? Like that's the coolest thing about it, I think, is there's all this sort of this unique hero content. You can kind of see like this first week sets a good template for them going back to the well of the other single player campaigns where you fight against unique bosses and making them playable. You know, I think that's going to be a big part of it. But I hope that they'll also do stuff that doesn't just fit that template. Do you guys want to take questions from the Q&A app, so the YouTube comment people?
Yeah, I've seen some good ones.
Yeah, let's see what's in here. Hold on, I'll pull it up. Here we go. Evan Conley says, do you guys have any feelings or thoughts on the fact that Metroid Prime's producer said that the next console Metroid is more likely to appear on the NX than the Wii U?
Oh yeah, I did read that.
Out of the loop. What is the NX?
So
the only
NX
thing I hear is
Nintendo's
not
new.
coming out for a while. Sorry.
Yeah, that's basically what they're saying. So the NX is Nintendo's new pseudo-unannounced platform that basically, when they announced their partnership to do mobile games, Iwata said, hey, by the way, also, we're going to make a new game console. We're not even going to begin talking about it until 2016. We just wanted to tell you guys so you didn't freak out and think we were quitting the hardware business. And the NX, they haven't said anything about it except for that it's a weird new thing, and it might have some sort of weird console handheld hybrid thing happening. The reason to think that is because Nintendo has been quietly merging their portable and console dev teams and kind of unifying them slowly over the course of like the past year or so. So maybe it'll be a console that is also a handheld or vice versa. But apparently we will be more likely to see a new console Metroid, at least from that developer, from Retro Studios, on the NX rather than on the Wii U, which that's not totally surprising to me. I feel like if we didn't hear about it at this E3, it's probably not a tentpole Wii U game. You know what I mean?
I'm just really excited to actually have some new Metroid news that isn't Federation Force. Not to say that I'm not excited for Federation Force, because I'm in the camp where I was just absolutely a diehard fan of Metroid Prime Hunters.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah.
That is a small camp. That is like one tent.
I know, right? Everyone just thinks it's mediocre. I'm like,
I didn't hate it either. I have a really fond memory of, it was like 2000, I don't know, 2 or 3, and I remember going to a Magic the Gathering tournament for the release of the set Unhinged, which was the second joke set they ever did. They did Unglued and then they did Unhinged. And I went to the Unhinged pre-release in North Carolina with a bunch of buddies, and the GameStop next door had the first ever DS demo unit that I'd ever seen in my life. And so between matches, I would run over there, play the Metroid Prime Hunters demo,
nice,
and then run back to the store. And at the time, it seemed like a pretty cool, just the idea of it was weird. I played more Metroid Prime Hunters than I kind of think that game deserved.
Yeah, so anyway, speaking of Metroid Prime Hunters, though, it was cool to hear, because at the same time they were talking about how there might not be a new like mainline Metroid until the NX. The guy who they were interviewing was talking about how he really wants to, if he continues the Metroid Prime series, he was saying like the whole Dark Samus Metroid Prime timeline or storyline is totally done with, that's concluded, but he wants to continue the Metroid Prime series, and he wants to have a game that focuses on Samus and Psylocke from Metroid Prime Hunters, and that is super cool to hear.
Damn, that's some deep cut fan service right there.
I know.
I mean, the fact that they're putting Metroid Prime in the name of this game says something, right?
They're keeping it alive, definitely.
Yeah, it's just I think that Nintendo maybe could have anticipated that after probably like almost a decade of no like real single player Metroid games, for them to announce a new one and feel like surprise, it's a first person handheld multiplayer thing.
Yeah.
Even if it is like quest based or whatever, it's still, when people have been screaming, give us a new Metroid game every E3 for the last 8 goddamn E3s, I don't think this is what they meant, necessarily.
The thing is, they got something that's so similar. Like, what was the one with, like, the soccer, and it was, like, you shoot
Blast Ball, yeah.
That seems so similar to, like, a Metroid game with, like, the blasters and stuff.
Do you know what's funny? My understanding, and they were really cagey about it, because Nintendo kind of lets people in the press a couple days before the Direct. They have like kind of a meeting to let people know, hey, here's some of the stuff we'll be talking about. I think that game is also a game by Retro Studios, and I think it's actually the same game. Like I think Blast Ball is maybe part
it's
of
contained within the same thing, I think.
Yeah,
because it was announced at the same time, or at least
not that that's not weird. Like you're not wrong for being confused about that. I think a lot of people were. Yeah, I don't know. It's I think like with Zelda they get leeway because they've got a new Zelda coming on the Wii U, and Zelda: Link Between Worlds was an amazing recent Zelda game. but I think there are people who wish that Metroid game was something other than what it is. And I mean, we'll never know until we play it, right? And it wasn't playable at E3. Yeah. But I don't know. I definitely don't feel. Huh?
Last Ball was playable at E3. They actually.
Oh yeah, it was. I didn't play it, but it sure was. I'll tell you, I went to Nintendo's booth and I played, I think, literally everything that they would let me. So I played Mario and Luigi Paper Jam, Yokai Watch, Mario Maker, Star Fox, and I think that might have been it. I played a little bit of Chibi Robo, but that there's not really anything. Yeah.
Did they have Triforce Heroes?
Yeah. Oh, sorry. I played that too. That game is really cool.
I'm really excited for that, actually.
What happens when I rub my face? Just shrinks.
Real quick, I gotta head out. Thank you so much for having me on.
Thank you for coming by. It was really good having you. I guess that means another slot is opening up. So if anyone has been trying to get
ready, I tweeted you a link to the doc with all of the different games in the release.
Oh, cool! Awesome. All right. Well, thank you so much.
I'll hopefully be by next time. Bye.
Yeah. Bye, dude.
See ya.
Cool. But yeah, no, I played a little bit of that Zelda game. It's cooler than I thought it was going to be. It's like they tried to emphasize in that direct that there was a real emphasis on like resolving puzzles in the same way that that you do in Link Between Worlds, and I think they kind of nailed that actually. Like I think it's very, very puzzle centric. I'm going to post about like 15 minutes of gameplay from it on Polygon, I think tomorrow.
Awesome.
Which should answer that question for a lot of people.
As someone who really liked Four Swords for some reason, I don't know why, I just did.
Four Swords is fucking sick. Four Swords and Forces Adventures are both great games, and this is like.
Is it similar?
Yes, it's similar, but like I would say it requires even more cooperation than Four Swords did, if that's possible.
Oh boy.
It's like you can. I asked Nintendo directly; they didn't have an answer for me, but I think in my heart I can tell the answer. I asked them if this is made by the people who made Link Between Worlds, and the answer has to be yes because the puzzles are so fucking dope.
I fucking love Link Between Worlds.
Yeah, that Link Between Worlds was so good. Let's see here. Shinra Kurisu says lack of Phantom Dust. Thoughts? Yeah, there was a recent interview, I think, with like Gamertag Radio, where they were asking a rep from Microsoft, I think Aaron Greenberg, what's up with that? And he said, yeah, that was like a passion project for Phil, and we do not currently have a developer on that game, but it could still come out. And I actually, people were like sending me Tumblr messages like, hey, dude, make sure that you have somebody with you when you read the Phantom Dust news. I just want to make sure you stay safe and nothing horrible happens. And it wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be. I thought it was going to be outright cancellation, which I guess Microsoft would probably never do. But instead it was just the news that that they don't have a dev on it, which in reality it isn't totally mind-blowing to me. I mean, the whole blow-up with Darkside Games just happened a couple months ago. I think if that game ever comes back to life, it's maybe not reasonable to expect it to be this soon. And it's definitely not reasonable to expect it to be at E3. But yeah, I remain completely fucking heartbroken over that.
Sorry. I was gonna say, what is Phantom Dust? Because I hear you talk about it like all the time.
Yeah, I think you're not alone. Not many people know what it is. So Phantom Dust, I have a copy of it right here. Phantom Dust. Let me break it out. I actually don't know if I have it in arm's reach. So basically, Phantom Dust, I try to keep one in arm's reach at all times because it's really important to me. Oh, here it is. Phantom Dust. Let me bring the color back. So Phantom Dust is this.
Beautiful.
It is an original Xbox game that was created by a man named Yukio Futatsugi, who also made games like Panzer Dragoon. All his games kind of have the acronym PD in them, including Phantom Dust. And it's this puzzle.
He made something else, didn't he?
I'm trying to think of what the third thing is that was his. I know he did a game called Ring of Red on the PS2.
There's something. I'll look it up.
Panzer Dragoon, Phantom Dust. There's
I've
another
heard
thing
Panzer Dragoon before in relation to something else.
But anyways, he made this game called Phantom Dust. It's a really weird game because it was developed by Microsoft Game Studios. You'll see right there.
Oh, Jet Set Radio.
Yeah. Well, wait.
Okay. Yeah.
I don't know that he was responsible for Jet Set
Radio. It was
Radio.
the same studio.
Yeah, that is true. He worked at the same time at the time. But wait, hold on. Let me get my.
I just started playing that. It's so good.
That is a great game.
I love that so much.
Let me click this autofocus. You can really bask in it. So, sorry, my iPad is getting screwed up. There we go. So you can see it's a Microsoft Game Studios game, but weirdly, Microsoft Game Studios did not publish this in America. The game was developed by them with Futatsugi-san, and it was developed actually partially here in America in Seattle, or actually in Redmond, Washington. Like part of the development was handled here in the United States. But Microsoft decided not to release it here because they were like, it's just not marketable. It's even though the whole game's in English and dubbed in English, it's like very, very Japanese. No one's ever gonna like it. And then Majesco, God bless their hearts, rest in peace, picked up the license to publish it and publish it as a $20 budget game here in America. And it's fucking awesome. It's basically like a real-time card game where you're running around a 3D like arena in third person, and you've got this deck of cards that are sort of these orbs at your home base, and they're randomly given to you from the deck you build ahead of time, and you're getting like mana just like in Magic. And then you're using these spells. Some of them are one-off, some of them are repeat uses, like fireball spells that you actually have to physically throw at your opponent. So it's like this really incredible, unique hybrid of a collectible card game and a third-person action like combat game. I should really do something on it with the channel. Like I reset up my 360 down here because I wanted to start streaming Xbox, like original Xbox games again, and this is one of the games like just holds up so fucking well, is so beautiful. And they announced a remake of it, and then they canceled it. And now I'm like, well, not canceled, but like ceased development on it for complicated reasons that I shouldn't take personally. But god damn it, like why? Why announce a Phantom? They announced the Phantom Dust game, which no one on Earth would care about but me, and then cancel it. So now it's hard not to take it as an attack because it's like no one gives a shit about Phantom Dust except for me. Why were you trying to hurt me? I guess is my only question.
Well, like what was
Did they have it developed already?
Yeah, it did. There's a really great feature on Kotaku about what happened. It's a developer called Darkside Games, and there's this whole convoluted story about how they were given a certain budget. They were given like a $7 million budget to make this game that was supposed to be multiplayer only, and they budgeted out. They started development. They had a prototype. Everything was going great, and then Microsoft came back and was like, actually, we need you to have a 40-hour JRPG single-player campaign too, and we're not increasing the budget. Or at least this is Darkside's side of the story, right? Like we don't really know what Microsoft's side of the story is, and I've heard over and over from people like that Microsoft would love to tell their side of the story, but they can't.
That's ridiculous.
Yeah, I mean, there's got to be more to it than that.
There's
because,
always
like,
more to it. And
well, the Kotaku story did sound pretty legit, right? Like you've read it, Nick. It did sound like what Darkside was saying made sense.
Yeah, for sure. And it did. At the same time, I feel like I'm sorry, I'm just obsessed with this, clicking on these things. Oh, this looks nice. At the same time, I also think that we don't live in a world where Microsoft would willingly task a developer with an impossible task and throw away $7 million in the process, especially a game that's like Phil Spencer and so many of that team are like personally excited about. Like, it's so weird, and I think we'll never know the full story.
Yeah.
But yeah, Phantom Dust is one of my, probably when people ask me what my favorite video game is, I usually say Phantom Dust because that's like a hipster answer and it's interesting and I like to say it, but also because it's really great and it makes me pretty sad to think that it might not ever.
Yeah, it's super sad because it was really incredible watching just like on Rev3 Games watching your conspiracy theory unfold, and there was just the slimmest chance that it would ever turn out to be true, and they had that announcement video and it was like, it was amazing, and I had honestly never heard of it before you started talking about it. But
I mean, I'll tell you.
I got so excited.
That was a weird video to make because I thought I was probably wrong, and I knew I was going to come across as a lunatic who was making shit up and just wishful thinking, and I was totally prepared to go into E3 hearing nothing about Phantom Dust. There was no chance. There's no reason I should have heard anything about Phantom Dust. Like, why would they announce Phantom Dust? It doesn't make sense. And then they did, and it was ridiculous. Like the moment where they went, I think Ken Law walked out on stage, and I don't know, he walks out and they've got like this big multi-projector thing happening at E3 last year, and the different logos of the different schools in Phantom Dust, like they're kind of like different deck colors in Magic, project on the wall behind him before they even say anything, and I immediately was like, oh fuck, like I knew what was happening, and it was like I thought I was like asleep. It was like weird.
Yeah.
But that's what Phantom Dust.
He just reaches out in the audience, points, and goes, "This is for you, Nick."
That's if he did, that would have been barely more weird than what actually happened.
I know.
So I hope that answers your question, Aiden. That's what Phantom Dust is. I think we got another person who joined here. Wait, I think we spoke to Brett, right? No, we got David is the new guy.
Yep.
Hey, David.
Hey, how's it going?
How you doing? Where are you reaching us from?
I'm over at Austin, Texas right now.
Nice. How'd you like E3?
Overall, I thought it was probably one of the best E3s that I can remember as our overall thing. I liked a few of the things that Microsoft showed. That mainly with a couple of the indie games, Ashen, what was the other one? Beyond Eyes and Cuphead.
I was hoping you were going to say Cuphead. 'Cause I think Cuphead was a big
looks
one for a lot of
gorgeous.
us.
Yeah, I love how much those guys are embracing the weirdness of 1930s animation were.
Yeah.
I don't know if anyone's ever tried to go back and watch like old school cartoons like Felix the Cat and Betty Boop back in those days, but I think they were all on acid when they drew those things.
It's amazing how immediately and accurately they were able to evoke that stuff too. Like it looks like you're looking at one of those cartoons completely.
Yeah, someone is spending a lot of time they have to be drawing every frame of animation that's going on in that game. Because that's the only way I can see it running as smooth as it is. I'm excited though.
Yeah.
And I really like that war mode they showed for Halo 5.
Oh yeah, Warzone?
Yeah, that looked really cool. And I actually ran into Meg Turney from Rooster Teeth earlier today, and she told me that she got to check out the game through Microsoft's HoloLens and said that was really awesome.
Yeah, I've heard about that Halo demo. One of I think Brian at Polygon checked that out, and he said it was pretty amazing. I think it was not technically Halo 5 or something. Maybe it was, but it was more like you walk into a hallway and they've got an actual Halo UI showing around your face, and it's just this very surreal moment for a lot of people.
Yeah, we'll see how that all culminates when they release it.
Yeah, I would love to know what the actual consumer use of a HoloLens is. That's one of the weird things I didn't get to use at E3 this year.
Yeah, I think the best thing I got out of this year though was just hearing my favorite developers, Platinum Games, making 4 games now.
Yeah. So let's go over those. So Star Fox is a big surprise. I like the idea that Hideki Kamiya got his dream to come true and he gets to make the Star Fox game he's been complaining about not getting to make for forever is already amazing on its own, right?
Did you play it? That game's one of the reasons I bought a Wii U. Like I bought my Wii U when they announced Bayonetta 2, and when I bought it, I was like, well, I hope they make a Star Fox game now because those are the 2 primary games. So that was actually really bummed that they skipped doing a Star Fox game on the Wii.
Right. Well, I'll tell you here. We actually got a question from The Real Vito on YouTube. He says, "How do you feel about the new Star Fox in person? Are you impressed at all? I'm not sure where I stand right now." I did play it for about 10-15 minutes. I played through kind of all the levels they had on offer. It's it's a weird game in that, like, as I'm sure you know, like, you've got the first-person view on the gamepad and then the third-person view on the top screen. Yeah. And I asked the rep, I was like, so am I supposed to spend most of my time looking at the gamepad or the TV? And she was like, just do whatever you want, man. Do whatever feels best, which is not a super useful answer. I think I came to the conclusion that I was more comfortable looking at the TV most of the time because, like, when you hear Miyamoto talk about it in a Nintendo Direct or whatever, he makes it sound like the camera just going to be floating free, showing you this outside view of your ship, maybe from the side. That's not super useful. But in reality, the camera that you're getting on the TV is like very much a Star Fox 64 behind-the-back camera. Is pretty cool. There were only a couple moments where I felt like it was mandatory that I look at the gamepad. Now, with that said, there were definitely times where there was information on the gamepad screen that I needed to know to go forward. There was like a boss battle where I had to fly into this tiny hole in the side of the boss's base, and I couldn't have seen that on the TV. So I had to look at the gamepad for that. And I think there was this weird balancing act that the player has to play that I'm not sure if I like yet, of having sort of split attention between the TV and the gamepad and not knowing where to look at all times. It's weird, but I also, like, this is exactly how I feel about Transformers. I trust Platinum. They don't really make, with the exception of Korra, which I don't think was their fault, they don't really make bad games. You know what I mean? Like, when you give them budget and time, they will make a good video game.
Yeah, I feel like the way that,
budget and time for
as
Korra.
far as how Star Fox's control scheme works, it might be a game you just need to play from beginning to get used to. Because I know at these kind of events, typically people are kind of rushed through when demoing a game.
Yeah, and I think it's important to put that asterisk on pretty much everything we see at E3, especially Nintendo stuff. Like, I probably, if you had asked me a year ago, if you'd got me to play their Splatoon demo a year ago and asked me what I thought of the motion controls, I might not have enjoyed those either, and now today I'm a believer.
Wow.
like it could be a similar situation. They've also come out and said you can turn off the gyroscope controls in Star Fox, which is an interesting distinction. I think I would actually prefer that. That would be one less thing to think about. And the weird thing about Star Fox was even after 15 minutes, I was like, I still feel like there's a lot of things going on between the left stick aiming my ship, the gyroscope aiming just the reticle but not moving the ship, the right stick doing flips and also controlling my acceleration and deceleration, and then doing cartwheels and backflips respectively on X and B. And, like it's using every part of the Buffalo. Like every single part of that controller is in use, and it's a little weird.
To be fair, like Splatoon is probably another good example where like it's got those motion controls, and it felt like you pick it up and you try and use it, and it's like this feels a little gross, but it doesn't take. Maybe I might be in the minority here. I've got friends who are like, oh no, it's gross, turn it off, joystick.
Yeah.
But it takes it only takes a little while to get used to the gyroscope controls along with everything else that you're doing in Splatoon.
Yeah, no,
and then
I can't stand having the gyroscope off in Splatoon. It just feels so clunky, and it's like I can't go back to this.
Yeah, it's funny. Like I feel very much the same way as you, and I think that like. The weird thing about the gyroscope in Splatoon is that you get dropped into the tutorial and you expect it to do the dual stick thing. And it's not the gyroscope, I think, that throws people off. It's the fact that you can't look up and down with the right stick. Not being able to do that when you've been doing it for like 20 years immediately makes people get mad and frustrated and turn it off. And actually, Phil Kohler, who's a buddy of mine, who also reviewed the game for Polygon, immediately turned them off. And I had this weird moment of like, oh my god, what if he doesn't get Splatoon? Like, what if he turns it off and ends up hating the game because of it? And ultimately, it didn't. I still recognize that it's a great game, but I still am very much team motion controls when it comes to Splatoon.
Yeah. Have you guys seen that image of the Pro controller with like a Wii remote strapped onto it with a shoelace?
Oh, yeah. I literally have like a shoelace somewhere in my room that I've been saving up just for like.
Yeah, that is an official Nintendo image.
You did it? Wait, sorry.
Yep. It happened. I can tweet a picture of it. It's ridiculous.
Please do. That's amazing.
It's so funny. Like it's not even you just hook it up and it works. You have to put in this like weird code. It's like ZLZR and then press 2 on the Wii remote and then press the D-pad. It's so weird.
It almost reminds me of the secret password that people found out 15 years after GoldenEye came out. There was a password you could type in to use 2 N64 controllers, one in each hand. It's very weird. So Nintendo announced it early.
Insane.
And it's also insane because it's like it is all in service of this one very throwaway local multiplayer mode. Like, was anyone like, God damn it, if only I could use motion controls in this shitty balloon popping local multiplayer mode that no one's ever going to play more than once. Like, it's such a silly use case. But I kind of like for reasons like that.
I just love the picture, the official picture of just like shoelaces.
Oh my god, I should find a way to like pull it up on screen. You guys can talk.
It's such like a clean like press picture. But
Yes, it's so dumb. It's a very polished, like very Nintendo like press photo of the dumbest thing you've ever seen.
The shoelace is just so white and perfect.
Oh, I found it. Here, I can link it.
Nice.
Well, what's also great is I'm sure most people have seen this already, but in the Sunken Scrolls, if you get that one that shows the human skeleton who's like playing a Wii U, something that I didn't notice until someone pointed it out is that in addition to the fossilized Wii U and the gamepad and stuff, there is also a fossilized Pro controller with a Wii remote strapped onto it.
No way. Nuh-uh.
Oh yeah.
The worst part is they never tell you in game. Like that should be something that they tell you, right?
That is the only time it ever shows up in game is like this little Easter egg.
Maybe they were like, even for us, this is like, we know that this is a dumb.
Man. What the heck?
This is what it looks like if you've never seen it before.
Awesome.
Oh my god, that's beautiful.
The official Splatoon Tumblr.
Wait, read the description that it says.
From early reports, it appears that a means of adding motion control to the control of the player playing on the TV screen in Battle Dojo. Pro tip: it's a shoelace.
Look at that complicated.
In the tags on Tumblr. The amount of like, there's kind of dope shit hidden in all the tags on the Splatoon Tumblr, by the way. Like,
are you sure that's not like a fake, like a 4chan you can microwave your iPhone thing now?
Yeah, exactly. Charge your iPhone by microwaving it. It feels like it, but if it were anyone but Nintendo, I would think so. Yeah. Just a total Nintendo.
I love it so much.
Nintendo always makes everything complicated.
Were you guys able to see that, by the way?
Yeah,
Okay,
that
cool.
was really cool.
All right, I hope that works.
Did they have the Platinum's other game, the Transformers game, on the show floor at all?
It wasn't on the floor, but they were taking behind closed doors meetings for it. I unfortunately had to run to a Nintendo appointment, so I went to the meeting for 5 minutes, watched them demo it in person in front of me, and then left. And I actually think that watching someone play that game is not it's like watching a YouTube video of it is not a suitable replacement for watching it played in front of you, because like in motion at 60 FPS on the stage they showed, it was like almost like a Golden Gate bridge battle or something. Watching the guy who's directing it playing it, the guy who also, by the way, made Metal Gear Rising: Revengeance.
Yeah.
It looks fucking great in motion, and I think when people saw that cel-shaded look, a lot of people rightfully were dismissive and were like, "Oh, it's another crappy downloadable Korra game that only has a 12-month."
No, I had the complete opposite feeling. As soon as I saw it, I said, "This is Gen 1. This is amazing."
That's all. Oh yeah, and it's I didn't get hands-on with it, unfortunately. I meant to go back to their booth later in the day, but I was just super busy. But based on watching them play it, it looks like a fleshed-out Platinum Games game in a way that I don't think Korra ever totally managed to be. And I liked Korra more than most people, but it was not a Platinum Games game.
From the little footage I saw of that game, it looks like the Bayonetta 2 battle system. Like it looked like there was witch time and everything.
Yes. I did a video on the youtube.com/dtoid, the Destructor YouTube channel, with Mike Cosimano, and one of the guys on the team there pointed out the phrase, there's a moment where you get to see Oculus Prime go into witch time, and I think that is like one of the most beautiful combinations of words in the English language, the idea of Oculus Prime going into witch time.
That's great.
Dtoid has their way with words, for sure.
Nick, I think you mean Optimus Prime.
What did I say, Oculus?
You said Optimus Prime.
Oh, whatever. Morpheus Prime.
Which I just wanted to point it out because Oculus Prime sounds amazing.
I would love that game.
Yeah, man. You play the game, you'll have the Oculus Rift on, and then you Prime.
And there's also Morpheus Prime and HoloLens Prime. I think.
Yeah.
Oh, God. I do have to say this, Nick. I actually absolutely love the Korra game from Platinum.
Oh, nice. Yeah. I mean, I was actually talking to one of the PR guys who worked on that game, and I was like, I think I liked that game more than everyone else on Earth. And he was like, what's funny is that game did really poorly in press reviews, but in the user score ratings on the internet, like actual customers liked that game way more than the press did.
Yeah, because I mean, I actually beaten that game probably like 10 times, and I have it on my PS4 and on my PC. I don't know. I think it's definitely the best Avatar-based game compared to other ones I've played.
Oh yeah.
That's maybe not the hardest hurdle to clear. Not the highest benchmark, but no one would disagree with you there.
I don't know. I just remember I just had a ton of fun playing that game versus other things where a Call of Duty game couldn't keep my attention for more than maybe 10 minutes.
Mm-hmm. Oh no, I feel you. I mean, I think that the weird thing about Korra is that in my opinion, like the core combat in that game was on point. Like the fighting felt good. It was maybe like there wasn't a ton of depth to it, but that core combat was very, very solid in that Platinum way. The bummer was I think it lacked a lot of variety and was very repetitive in a way that most Platinum games are not. But like they nailed the gameplay fundamentals, and that was important to me.
If the game was any longer, I probably would have enjoyed it a little less.
I think it was for me. It dragged on maybe 25% longer than I would have liked, but even that much, I was still like, you know what? For a licensed fucking Nickelodeon game, you're never gonna get better than this. Like,
and I absolutely love that franchise too. I actually have a freaking tattoo of the Water Tribe logo.
Oh wow,
on me.
That's amazing. I hope that's showing up. I'm getting a couple comments saying that maybe the YouTube version of the stream, they're like, I can't see anyone but Nick.
Yeah, I was looking on this. I'm seeing a lot of black screens showing up.
Yeah, and it's weird because like I thought that meant it would just stay on my camera the whole time, but I'm going to it now and it's just showing black for everyone else, and which is kind of amazing because I was kind of hoping in the year it's been since I've done a Google Hangout, I was hoping that maybe they'd made it not a broken piece of shit. And apparently the answer is no, it is still Google Hangouts, and it's actually breaking in new, unprecedented ways that it never managed to before. Well, on that note, I think maybe we wrap this up, but this was really fun. I'd love to do this again sometime. Thank all of you for joining. I literally announced this on Twitter 15 minutes before we started as a last-minute thing, and it was more than successful. Thank you everyone watching on YouTube at home. If you want to be notified next time I do this, I'll probably tell people next time. You can subscribe on YouTube and you'll find out about it. And the easiest thing is probably to follow me on Twitter because I announce everything there as it's happening or before it happens. Thank you. I just got a pop-up from APG telling me that I need to restart my computer. That's fine.
I have to ask you a question, if you don't mind.
No, go for it.
Is there some time I wanted to ask you a couple questions about San Francisco, maybe like at a later date or something, because it seems like you want to wrap everything up right now.
Yeah. Feel free. I'm as you like. You can always find me on Twitter and stuff like that. I'm more than willing to field questions about any of that stuff. I think someone left and then someone else hopped in. Cool. Luckily, no one else can see it. And yeah, thank you guys so much for joining.
Thanks.
And this has been a relatively successful Google Hangout. Thank you, Aiden, Brett, David, Jack, Joey, Lachlan, Marcy, and the other Nicholas. And I have Batman preloaded, so I'm gonna go.
Good. I'm gonna go play Alien Isolation because I just got that on the Steam
Are you using PS4?
Yes, I preloaded on the PS4. I've never preloaded a game before, so I'm excited.
Do you mind if I just ask you that on there, if you or something?
Yeah, I'll probably be in isolation because I got a roommate who's going to be taking the reins for it. But yeah, thanks so much, guys, and I'll see you guys next time.